I am, sick and tired of the so-called left, who are really a bunch of authoritarians, trying to set the agenda and boss everyone around. And once they've gotten you to be dominated by them through political correctness, peer pressure, mind control, cult tactics, then they can get you to comply with whatever social norm they want. And that is basically slitting your wrist and giving everything you've got to the kleptocratic, corrupt system. I mean, an example of this is I was working out with a buddy this morning. We were not being loud. And another fellow that has a French bulldog came in that I know. And his French bulldog had been chasing balls and jumping off stuff and hurt its neck. Because if you get an athletic French bulldog, most of them aren't athletic, but his dog's athletic and my dog's athletic. They'll jump off fences. They'll jump over things. They'll run into walls. They have huge heads. And he was about 10 feet away going, hey, my dog's better. How's your dog? And I was saying, yeah, he's doing a lot better. He's pretty much 100% back from blowing one of his discount. And I was talking about this loud. Oh, hey, yeah, Tom. Oh, good. Your dog's doing better. Ziggy's doing better. Yeah, Captain's doing better. He's pretty much 100%. Oh, yeah, I've got him staying with my parents sometimes when I go out of town. But, yeah, he's 100. Oh, really? Your parents are keeping your dog for a couple of weeks. We go out of town, too. And this woman walks right over and goes, be quiet. And I said, this is a gym, not a library. But I said, I'm not even yelling. I'm talking 10 feet away to that guy in this voice right now. Well, at first I said, oh, okay. I said, and she was bugging her eyes out at me. And I said, are you serious? She said, yeah, I'm serious. Be quiet. And I was sitting there and I said, well, I'm not being that loud. This isn't a library. And I said, what's your name? And she wouldn't give me her name. And I smiled at her. And then she said her name. And I said, mine. And I smiled at her again, and then she just gave me dirty looks for the next hour. And would, like, walk in my space. And one of my buddies was like, man, I think she's trying to pick you up or something. And I was like, no, she's not. I talked to somebody else at the gym that says she does that to other men. And she wants you to shut up. She wants to dominate you. And it's this basic assertiveness training that they're giving women now. And, of course, if they asserted themselves in business being charming and going and playing golf with men and, not making up sexual harassment on everybody and not, playing games, they would be successful. And that's the real reason women on average are not paid as much as men. They've got insurance actuaries out on it now that they tend to leave for maternity leave. They tend to want to take off when they have family problems. And that's fine. I totally get it and understand on average. And there are a lot of great women better than men in business. I'm just saying as a stereotype, as an average, this is something you're seeing more and more and more. And I pick up women's magazines and it's like, divorce your husband. It's so much fun. Your life will be great. And I was reading a statistic where the vast majority of divorces are now women. And their girlfriends tell them, go get a divorce. It's like getting a new, winter coat or something. It's like getting a new car. It's so great. Get rid of him. You don't need him. And then women aren't fulfilled under the system. Men aren't either. And they're so incredibly angry on average. And then Michelle Obama's on TV saying, don't use the word bossy. It refers to women. That's like saying brown bags put down brown people. It's like if I drove a brown car, nothing to do with it. It's everybody's so hypersensitive and literally mentally ill to the point of where we just say, look, we'll do whatever you say, just don't call us racist, homophobic, or sexist. And I'll be honest, I wasn't brought up to be racist. I wasn't brought up to be against gay people. I wasn't brought up to be against anybody. But when the BBC has the headline, bossy, should we ban it? And Michelle Obama chimes in and says, yes. I mean, this is pure authoritarianism. And authoritarianism can come in the form of a white male. It can come in the form of a black female. It can come in the form of a Hispanic female or male. But it just so happens in the socialist paradigm model. And you can look at this in the Soviet Union. You can look at this in current systems. They choose women to be the mate of the state. And that's why they say, look, if you're a woman with kids anywhere in the world, you want to come here, you can get here, unless it's from a Western nation. If you're from Australia, Scotland, Germany, Switzerland, it's on record. I mean, it's in the news that they will not let you move here because they don't want high-skilled people. It's hard to move here if you're from Japan. They don't want high-skilled people who have a history of thinking they have some rights. They want women who will immediately plug into the state, immediately trust the state, and I want to tell Hispanics something. And this is really almost an oxymoron because Hispanics are, on average, a mix between Spaniards, Portuguese, and Native Americans of Central, South America, and North America. You know, just like, I mean, you could claim I was Hispanic by that yardstick because I have so many Native American bloodlines from having ancestors from, you know, the early days of this country. Almost everybody ended up intermarrying with Native Americans at one point. And it's just basically everybody in my family, especially in my dad's side, has Cherokee, Comanche, you name it, Seminole, Red Stick. I mean, I guess I'm really Hispanic. I mean, if you wanted to, because if that's what Hispanic is a European with a native. I mean, that's what Spaniards are. I mean, Spaniards 1,000 years ago in the paintings and the drawings were blonde-haired, blue eyes. They were basically Germans. And then the North African Arabs invaded. So in southern Spain, you get some of that pretty black hair and, you know, that exotic look and all the rest of it. But I mean, so I guess you could claim those people are Hispanic if you want to say any European mixed with anybody who's Asian. That's what an Arab is a European mixed with an Asian, mixed with some African. I mean, this is just a fact. The Arabs, on average, are about half Asian. They're basically Chinese. And the genetics of a Mesoamerican, a pure Mayan, is a Chinese person. I mean, you can look this up in genetics. It's even in, you know, mainline publications. So that's why they even get the Mongolian spots. A Hispanic baby, if they're more native, will have big purple spots down their back, and they get their kids taken by CPS all the time. You know, my sister's adopted Korean, and, you know, until she was about 2, she had big purple spots down her back, and that's an Asian trait. She's South Korean. And, you know, my parents routinely had to get called into swim team, or she still sometimes was about 4, actually. Or was it 2? I forget. The point was, I remember some of the daycare, when they put her in there part-time or whatever, I remember they had issues with it, explaining, no, these are Mongolian spots. And then that was racist, because we'd adopted a Asian, but to then say there's something called a spot, information is racist, you have to understand. You have to understand that. In fact, ignorance is what political correctness is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how I went off on that long jag, but I wanted to explain something to you. Hispanics, if you like what's been done to the black community, going from lower illegitimacy than the white community in the 40s to the highest ever known, over 90%, if you like the highest prison population for a group ever known, if you like the lowest test scores ever known in this country, if you like the most poverty, the highest murder rate, and basically total societal collapse like we've seen in the black community, that the globalists literally, on record, the Democratic Party engineered in by getting the women and saying, kick the men out of the house, and then you're going to get a full welfare ride. That's what's being offered out of the hand of Obama and Robert Rodriguez here in Austin, Texas tonight. And then Robert Rodriguez and Barack Obama will sit and perch with the Democratic Party. The Republicans just want to bankrupt everything and have cheap labor and bring down the country as well. I mean, they're all the same elite. But the Democrats run the local law firms that legalize all the illegals and run all the scams and suck the money out of them publicly. They run all this, okay? And so if you want to look like what's been done to the inner city black communities, believe me, you're going to really like what Big Brother does to you. So the hand you're being offered lovingly, just and it's the same thing of all poor people. You take some poor East Texas person on welfare, and you take some poor East Texas Hispanic on welfare, and some poor black from East Texas on welfare, And actually, I got family in East Texas. I go to, I mean, they're all together now. We're going to talk about equality. They're all together now. It'll be a bunch of 300-pound blacks, whites, and Hispanics, or maybe 400-pound, sitting around with their kids that all have disorders and take all the shots, sitting around a table, getting ready to have their legs chopped off from diabetes, or they already have. I mean, you go in these cafes and places, and they're all sitting around talking about what they saw on television and how they're waiting on insurance money, and they're wrecked. And they're all basically been destroyed by the system. And that's going to go system-wide by design. That's what this is. The full bankrupting of this country, up one side and down the other. And that's where this whole civilization is going. Because we have to be dehumanized and destroyed before we can be brought into the eugenics model for full social engineering and finally the organized population reduction down to, they tell top professors in publications 100 million will be kept alive so that they think they'll be part of it with their families. But higher level, like Dr. Pianka at UT admits, no, they're going to go ahead and go down to 1 million. And then those are going to merge with machines. Now, I'm not saying all that's going to happen. That's what Ray Kurzweil, Dr. Pianka, Bill Joy, and the entire ruling technocracy, in their own words, say they're doing. And I'm here debating, I'm not racist because I don't want totally open borders with mothers with 3 or 4 kids directly being put on welfare as our cities, counties, and states go bankrupt. I have to sit here on the defense because the moral authority is the Democrats saying, don't say bossy, don't say you built your business, don't say immigrant. See, first it's don't say illegal immigrant. Now it's don't say immigrant. That's racist. Now you need to say migrant. Migrants go back. These people don't go back. Migrants go back. These aren't migrants. And then now that's not enough. It's unaccompanied children. And then we've learned, okay, whatever you say the new reality is, you tell us the new reality every day, the new words we're supposed to use, and we'll be correct. And then I look at all these cowardly, weak people. You know, I talk to liberals all the time who come up and insult me or say something to me on the street. And I'll say, hey, come here. Sit down. Have dinner. Let me buy you dinner. I've done this as a sociological test. I've done it in front of people that work in this office. I ought to do it with hidden cameras sometime. It doesn't happen very often, though, but when it does, I'll say, come here. You just came over and bumped into me and said you want to kick my ass, and you know, you obviously know who I am and everything, and you're showing off. You're over there at the bar with those people. I'm here eating sushi. I'm going to buy you a drink. And they're like, no, I'm going to buy you one. So then, no, I don't want a drink. Just come on over here. And I go, listen, you do all this political correctness and all this to feel good and to feel like you're being successful, right? I mean, you really know it's a bunch of bull to say, you know, that if you don't like Obamacare, you're racist. And by a 10-minute talk, they go, look, I know it's all total bull. You're right. I just play along with it and go along with it. And I don't know why I said that to you. And I don't know why I try to start a fight with you. And the good thing is more and more I've learned, because this doesn't happen very often, but it's happened a lot over the years, to not blow up at people, and then I have them literally awake, eating out of my hand. When I'm smooth, when I give it to them easy. And so maybe there is something towards, you know, being more calm with these people, because really, they're just really scared. They have no intellectual backbone. They have no rudder. And, you know, daddy left when they were 5, and all they know is posing. And they just want to show off to their friends because they're just threatened by celebrity. There's a real phenomenon now of when Nicolas Cage was in town, people coming up being mean to him or making fun of him or saying nothing to him. When he was here promoting his movie Joe, that's excellent, by the way, absolute East Texas. They shot it with real East Texas people, East Texas trash. Most of the people were not actors in the movie. That's the whole new thing in movies, is to not use actors. The movie Under the Skin was real men being abducted by Scarlett Johansson and really walking into black water to have sex with her. I mean, wow, that's cinema right there, let me tell you. But I talked to a lot of celebrities and other people all over the place. People will throw drinks on them, they'll attack them, they'll do whatever, because now it's not even about worshiping the celebrity. It's about you're so angry they're a celebrity and you feel so inadequate because television's the only real world to you and it hasn't delivered for you, the fantasy world you live in watching TV all day, that you then attack anyone from the system. And I think that's actually healthy as a beginning because you're at least now rejecting it, realizing it won't fulfill you if that's all you care about. If you like art, if you like films, that's fine, but it's not the whole world. Why are you crying and acting like, you know, I heard there were some suicides in Brazil whenever Brazil lost to Germany 7-1. And I just find it fascinating how if these people cared about their freedom as much as they cared about a sports team, they would be free. But they don't, so they're slaves. And that's why they've used sports for thousands of years as social control. When they founded the Olympics in France, you know, the latest Olympics, not the one in Greece, at the turn of the last century, with French royalty setting it up with the Germans, they said we'll use it as social control. Look it up. Alex Jones here for Infowars.com. We're going to be intensifying our efforts to awaken free humanity to the scourge of the globalist in the month of July. And starting this July 4th, we are going to slash prices in a celebration of true Americana, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence on all of the Made in America products that you will find at madein1776.com or InfoWarsStore.com. We're talking about Made in America belt buckles in brass and nickeled brass that state it loud and proud. Molon Labe. That's why we have the best-selling Made in America men's and women's Molon Labe Infowars.com shirts. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a win-win. You vote with your dollars. You support the most hardcore organization out there for promoting true ideas of libertarianism, constitutionalism, basic human empowerment. But more importantly, you get T-shirts and belt buckles so you can meet like-minded people. So you have a conversation starter with friends and family and coworkers. We are reaching out to each other. And you also throw it in the face of the anti-gunners and the rest of the parasites out there that you're a free man and woman and that you're not going to be a slave, that you're not going to be intimidated to shut up by their tyranny that they call political correctness. That's why in the month of July, we have got giant specials on everything at madein1776.com. But to expand the InfoWar, we're offering the biggest special in the history, 13 years of PrisonPlanet.tv, our multimedia platform. We're offering the equivalent of more than 5 months free right now when you get a membership at PrisonPlanet.tv, and you get 11 memberships that can be used with the same username and passcode so you can share it with friends and family. Now is the time to fund the war bonds. Now is the time to fund the InfoWar. Now is the time to get aggressive. Now is the time to double down. Now is the time to realize you are the people that made the InfoWar so successful and one of the leading lights worldwide against tyranny. You don't stand behind us, you stand right beside us, and I salute all of you on this July 4th, 2014, and going forward in the month of July and onward. This is about freedom worldwide and that desire for human dignity and self-determination that beats in the human breast. We are brothers and sisters together in the true spirit of liberty and the animating contest of liberty. And so I quote in closing the great Thomas Jefferson that I have sworn on the altar of God resistance against every form of tyranny. And never forget, if you are watching or listening to this transmission, you are the resistance.